We're going to start a new design from scratch with the shape builder. We'll first choose the size, 30 inches wide, 22 inches tall, and let's go ahead and add a polished margin to this, and we'll click OK. The next thing we'll do is grab the text tool so that we can start adding the text, and we'll just type in the name and birth date here, and then the date of death, and then using the keyboard we will resize the text here, make it a little larger to fit the stone size a bit better, and then we'll make the top line a 1/4 inch larger than the other two, and then we'll run the panels here that will create a panel around the text for us and then space out that text evenly for us as well. Next we'll go and find some clip art. This is just a praying hands design that we've already got, so we're just going to hold this down in the tray as a holding place and then do a search here for rose, cultivated rose, and see what that comes up with. Once we type it in and hit enter, then we can go and search through the different designs and find the one that we would like, and the tray down there will just serve as a holding place for us. So we'll find the ones that we like, have the family choose the ones they like, and just hold them in place for us. That way we don't have to remember which ones we liked. And for this we'll actually choose a laser etch drawing as well for later on. So now that we've got these designs, we can find one that we like. The second one's pretty good, so let's just drag and drop that up into our design, and then we can close out the tray and close out the clip art docker there as well. We can mirror it over to the other side, and then from here we can start adding granite fills to our design. So I'll just scoot this stuff over here just a little bit so that we can see it a little better, and throw in the Georgia granite fill. We didn't have anything selected, so it's going to prompt us to select something. You can do everything at once or individual pieces. If you wanted to color things differently, that would be fine. But this shows a couple different colors, some Chinese colors here. So we can have green. Just shows the different options, but we'll stick with gray for now, and then go ahead and see what that looks like. So there we have it. We've got John Henry Stone and we're good to go. But what if we wanted to do a little bit more than that? Let's start with adding some flower vases. We'll just plop in a vase on the left hand side, and then we will go ahead and mirror that, and we're going to mirror it on the die so that it mirrors over to the right hand side. Flip it back just so that the lighting looks good. We'll also bring in some flowers, and we will mirror those over to the other side as well, so that way we have flowers in both of our vases. And we'll just do that by clicking the mirror up there at the top. You can do it with the buttons or the keyboard shortcuts, either way. Let's also bring in a ceramic photo here. So we'll just bring in the empty frame first, put that where we want it. But let's drop everything down here just a little bit. I want to add some text across the top that fits to the SERP. So we'll just move our text tool up to the top until the cursor turns into the little squiggly line, and then we can start typing in our text that we want to have across the top of the stone. Once we've got that, we can just drag it down into position where we want it, and that looks good there. So now we've got our text. Now let's bring in a photo. Let's go ahead and import the photo here, and there's a rather nice one that I've got on my system for John Henry, so we'll find that in the pictures folder here, and it just happens to be the first one available, so we'll choose that, and then we'll click on import, and we can quickly size it. We can also just bring it in the size that it was, whatever works for us, but since we know roughly how big it is over in the thing, that's how big we'll make it. We'll power clip that inside of our empty frame. As you can see, it's now inside our frame, so it looks pretty nice, but I don't like the background there. It's got a bit too much of the blind look to it. So let's just edit that bitmap. And if we click edit bitmap, that's going to bring it straight into the photo editing software, and then we can mess with it from there. So first thing we'll do is just cut out the person from the background. Simply done by dragging this green line around the outline of what we're doing. You don't have to be super precise, but obviously the more precise the better. I'll just quickly go around here, and I'm just doing this with my mouse. If I wanted to do a little bit faster and more precise, I would be using a tablet, but for this purpose I'll just do it with my mouse here to show that it can be done. Once we've got the green outline around, then we just fill it in the inside, and then we can choose our cutout, do a preview, and then we can go and edit that from there. Just minor edits, some things that won't grab correctly, so we'll just go back and brush those in or out as needed. Up here above the shoulder you can see that it grabbed a little bit of, I think that was the chair that was behind him, or maybe a shadow. So we'll just take that out. Over on the left it's left in a bit of the blinds, and also taken out some of his ear, so we'll go and re-add that back on there here in just a second. So we'll just go to the additive mode, and then that way we can add that back in and add in the cheek there that was taken out. Going back to subtract, we can get rid of the rest of those blinds there. Touch up just a little bit more over here on the shoulders, over on the left hand shoulder. And that looks pretty good. So once we've got that done, we can click OK. Now I'm just going to take the background and apply a blur to it, and that will get rid of the blinds look for us. And because that's behind the other photo, we're able to keep the look of the front photo and just change the background. And I remember now that John Henry was actually a pretty hairy guy, so we're going to have to just add in a little bit of his facial hair here, just to show the kind of things that can be done with editing photos and stuff. It certainly gives your customers the ability to see whatever edits would be done or can be done on the fly, and gives them the ability to have whatever custom work done they need to be done in-house. Now that we like that, we'll just click Finish Editing, and that'll send it straight back into Memorial Designer on the headstone. We like it, so we'll just click Finish, and there we've got our ceramic photo. Let's zoom out just a little bit, and the vases are still gray, so, or in the gray scale, so we'll just add the gray granite to those. That way they match the stone, and that looks pretty nice. But let's say we wanted to do something a little bit different. Let's say we wanted to go to a black stone instead of the gray. So we're going to select the text here, and we'll go ahead and go white with the text on there since we're going to go with the black stone. We'll change the fill color to jet black, and that'll go ahead and select everything at once and recolor it all for us. And then let's go back to our tray, because that's where we had that image saved, and we'll find the laser etched version of our roses. So we'll just throw that up there, and then shrink down the tray again. Now this will just resize, make it a little bit larger, and by default it's got a black box around it, just so that you can see the black, but we will get rid of that here for the design, and now we don't need to worry about that. We'll bring it down, and we'll mirror this over to the other side as well. So we'll just zoom in here and select that, and then mirror it over to the other side. That way it matches what we had there before. And zooming in, you can see that this laser etching is nice and high quality, and you can also see the granite fills behind it. But what if we didn't want jet black? What if we wanted to go a little bit on the wild side and do something like cat's eye? Well, filling it in with cat's eye is perfectly alright. Takes just a second here to render that, and then we can close that out, and we'll see that we've got our stone in cat's eye, and the laser etching is still showing up. So we like that. Let's add in a background, make it a little bit nicer. And since we've got the polished margin there, I'll normally add in a little bit of a shadow just to separate the die from the base. So we'll just add in a little bit of a shadow here. That makes it look just a little bit nicer. And then we'll just convert that over to a bitmap. Close out our granite fills again. Keep hitting the wrong buttons here. Alright, so now we've got our design. Looks really nice, but what about being able to plot this? Well, don't have to worry about that. We can certainly plot it. Before that though, let's go ahead and export it out as a JPEG. We haven't yet saved the file, so it's going to ask for a name, and I'm just going to type in the name. Wait, not that one. I'm going to type in John Henry here, because that's his name, and so we'll go ahead and do that. And now what we did is we just sent out a JPEG of the design so that we can email that off for whatever we want to do. File it away. But back to plotting. If we want to be able to plot this, it's fine. Let's just go ahead and select the design, or the pieces that we want to plot anyway. Don't need to keep the vases or anything like that. Hit the Create Plot Page button. And what that does is it makes a copy of everything you've got on a second page called Plot, and takes out all the colors and makes it so that it's nice and plottable. It also took out the laser etching for us, since we won't be plotting the laser etching. Took out the ceramic photo for us. Left the outline of the photo. And just to show how this works, let's bring in yet another flower, and we'll go ahead and fill that in with the colors as well. Get that back to cat's eye. You can see how quickly that's done, no matter what image you're bringing in, whether that's the sandblast or laser artwork. And let's just go ahead and delete this original plot page, and then we will redo this again to show how it works with the extra artwork in there. So we'll click on Create Plot Page again, and there we have it. It's taken all the fills out, and then we just send it to our plotter. That will send it to, for me it's I've got a Suma plotter, so it's sending it straight to Suma's WinPlot, and WinPlot brings that straight in. And now that it is in WinPlot, all I have to do is go up and click Send to Cutter, and away it goes. It's a cuttable file.